In 2014, I quit my job as a CPA in Italy and I moved to the United States to improve my English. This is how my entrepreneurial journey started, and since then, I've been focusing on growing myself to grow my business. In this podcast, I just want to create a collection of all the lessons that I learned through my mistakes and the success that came from the wins, going through all the stories, the fun facts, and the anecdotes that I've been experiencing through this journey. My name is Cristina, and let's start collecting picture memories. I would love to share with you something that I recently experienced. I got a pleasure to attend one of Tony Robbins' events in Florida that was called Business Mastery. And it was all about learning how to scale your business. But of course, as everything that's related to your own business, it's really tied to your own mindset. So the first day we spent in a room with like 1,000 people, and we stayed there for a crazy long amount of hours, 15 or 16 hours. And what they were trying to do was, other than a brainwash, they were also trying to keep us in the right state to learn all the things that we needed to learn. So we were jumping and dancing, and I loved it. And I keep doing it myself, even now that I'm working in my office. So when I'm down, just jump for 10 seconds and you're back on track. Guys, try. It really changes your mind, your life and mindset. But other than that, what I loved was that they told us a lot of stories. Like, it was stories after story after story, because in that way you can remember what you need to learn in a much easier way, and you can keep it with you for a longer time. And what I took home that day, it is what I call my favorite word. That is, it's an inconvenience. Because I'm the master of seeing things worse than they actually are. Okay. And that starts from the words that I decide to use to describe things or describe a situation that I'm living in the moment. And when Tony started to tell us about his divorce from his first wife, he told us that it ended up with his lawyer telling him that he owed her $8 million. And he goes, I didn't have $8 million back then. I was starting kind of my career. Yes, I was kind of wealthy, but I didn't have $8 million to give my wife in that moment. So I was screaming inside. He goes, I was yelling, and I was so frustrated, but everything that I said was, it's an inconvenience. I don't have $8 million. This is an inconvenience. And I'm like, it's unbelievable, because that takes away at least half of the weight that you put on that situation just for the words that you decide to use to describe it. So, love that word. Kept it with me for the entire week. So comes the day that I have to leave Florida and I have to fly back to New York. And of course, there is a summer storm hitting New Jersey. And New Jersey, New York area. So my flight got canceled, and I'm like, fine, I rescheduled it for the morning. No, not a big deal. Then I wake up in the morning, I go to the airport, no messages, nothing from the airline company that the flights are canceled again. So I arrive at the airport, it's 5:30 in the morning, and all the flights are canceled again. And there's no flights to go back to New York until the following day. No flights. I'm like, okay. And I start telling myself, this is an inconvenience. Also, because the following day I have a flight to go to Italy for my brother's wedding. So I really need to go back in New York as soon as I can, because I can't miss that flight. Okay, so I found a way to get a flight to Baltimore, and then catch a train to go to Newark. Great. So I found a solution. I love it. And then I'm on a train. Of course, because of the storm, the whole situation here at Health Italia is crazy, because we got a flood, the ceiling dropped, we have water everywhere in the basement, in the kitchen. We can't operate. We shut down the kitchen. So I'm on the phone with my managers, and then we are talking to insurance. We're talking to the landlord. Crazy. This is my way back from Florida on the train. And then I arrived at the train station, fine, everything was fine. And I booked an Uber to pick me up at this train station. And when I opened the door of the car, I realized that I forgot my luggage on the train. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? So I had like 5 seconds panic. And then I'm like, okay, Cristina, just go on the Amtrak website, try to see if you can file a claim for lost and found and see what they do, but whatever. And I said, this is an inconvenience, but it's just a luggage. I can survive without it. And let's see if we can find it. Otherwise, it's going to be it. That's okay. But to me, saying to myself, it's an inconvenience, it made me laugh about the situation instead of making a huge drama like, I'm late, I didn't get my flight and my place is flooding and then I have a flight to catch tomorrow and everything is delayed. Like, no, nothing happened. Nothing happened in my brain. It was just an inconvenience. So if you really want to try, next time that something happened into your life, whatever it is, like in daily situations, it can be anything. And you say, oh, it's just an inconvenience. And on the train, I kept also saying, it could be a worse inconvenience or a bigger inconvenience. Like when I was talking to somebody about the ceiling that fell in the kitchen, I'm like, yeah, it could be worse. It could be all the store that is not working. It could be a bigger damage. We're handling it and we're going to fix it. It could be worse. It's just an inconvenience. And it reframes the entire situation. So I really wanted to share with you this because I think that we are all experts in seeing things worse than they actually are. And this is actually something that they taught us during the event down in Florida. And I have to read my notes that says, see as it is, but not worse than it is. This is called intelligence. So I really think that we need to master this because I'm the best of digging a very dark hole and keep digging and digging and digging and digging. So let's stay up. It's just an inconvenience. If you like this podcast and the topics I'm talking about and you want to know more about what I do, you can follow me more on our social media accounts. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram and on Facebook under the Healthy Italia account. I'm not very active on social media on my personal account, so you won't find that much. But you can see me on the Healthy Italia account. So it will be wonderful to meet you there. And if you find that what I'm talking about it could be helpful for anybody, you're more than welcome to share the podcast with your friends or whoever you think might benefit from it. Thank you so much. It means the world to me.